So hello and welcome to Law Talk Today. My name's Larissa Wanty and I'm the Deputy Head of Events and Finance at Law Talk Today, and I'm very pleased to have a special guest with me today for interview. So Nancy, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Larissa. Thank you for having me on board. And I'm very excited about this interview. I'm Nancy Steidel. I'm an intellectual property law specialist in AI and robots. I'm also the managing director of the Business Mission. So I deal with business law and IP law and helping people set up companies and also help them understand the importance of IP law in their businesses as well.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. So we'll launch straight into the questions then, if you don't mind. So first of all, I think it would be really interesting for our audience to hear about if you could just run us through a little bit about your journey into a career in law and more specifically your journey into what drove you towards intellectual property.
Fantastic. How much time do we have?
As much or as little time as you want. You can give a one word, you can give a 15 million, as much as you'd like.
No, I'm just kidding. So, my journey into law, it's been a journey itself, actually. I started with my first master's, which was an international business law degree at the University of London. Then I did an MBA in global law in Berlin, and then just recently finished my last master's, which is intellectual property law at the University of London again. So they're all international degrees, which really gave me a global perspective on law. So what drew me to the IP law was really seeing the value businesses place on brands and ideas and how easy that value can be lost without, proper legal protection. So it's about really helping those businesses and also giving the understanding to people about IP law. I really love that field of law is always evolving from that, those traditional trademarks and copyrights to now when we're entering the AI generated content. There's always something really interesting to tackle. And I've recently wrote and published a book called The Art of Analogies in Business, How to Start a Business in Layman's Terms. And it's designed to help entrepreneurs and young people understand IP. There's a whole section of IP in there. Because of course that's my passion, to incorporate with their businesses.
Okay, brilliant. So if we could just lean into a little bit more in your current work then, would you be able to tell us a little bit about your work with the Business Mission and in particular how you're working to integrate, you touched a little bit upon already AI, but how you're working to integrate that into legal and business practice with clients?
Yeah, absolutely. So I created the Business Mission to make legal business advice accessible for all entrepreneurs. I mean, law can sometimes feel quite intimidating to people, but I focus it to make it a little bit more practical. With AI and helping businesses to use it effective, advising on the legal side, like who owns that AI generated content and patents which are created with AI, and AI data protection. I mean, AI has enormous potential, as you probably know, but it does come with a lot of risk. So I do help clients, or even, I do a lot of mentoring with students as well, just understand the safety of feeling safe and ethical with IP law.
Absolutely, and I think talking about that risk as well is a really interesting thing, and I'd like to sort of build on that with the next question about what are your sort of opinions on the balance between AI's sort of challenges and its benefits in legal practice, and particularly within that IP sphere.
Yeah, so AI is really a huge asset for IP law. Okay, so some of the things, it can speed up the trademark searches. I know when I first started in 2018 doing trademark searches, it was so lengthy. You can imagine like going through WIPO and EUPO and, the UK trademark. I would have to spend my time doing that. So now you can do searches more effectively. There are prior art reviews. It frees lawyers and people in the legal field to focus on higher level work. But there are challenges as well, like ownership of AI created work is really not clear right now. Okay, so AI can be biased or unreliable or manipulative, and client data, it's really got to be carefully protected. So for me, AI is a tool to enhance human judgment, definitely not to replace it. So I think strong governments and clear legal understanding is really essential as we move forward into the AI and IP law sector.
Absolutely. And I think it's very fair to say that AI in general across the legal sphere, even outside of IP, is just a big buzzword at the minute,
Yeah.
really in terms of everything. So it's really interesting to hear about that. Um, but so then just moving on to our final question then. Obviously, with AI being such a big buzzword, it's very much the focus of the moment. But outside of AI, what do you think is the most prevalent issue facing IP law within the next 5 years?
Well, I think there's a few major challenges coming up. So one thing is probably like global enforcement. Like AI, IP laws are really fragmented at the moment. So protecting a trademark or a patent worldwide is very complex. There's different jurisdictions have different laws, So there is the European Union AI law, but it's just, because with any IP, it's always by jurisdiction. So I think there has to be some sort of global enforcement. There's also the digital assets like NFTs, the metaverse, and virtual products, which are raising new IP questions. Because in the metaverse, which I tap into, there isn't a jurisdiction there. So it is a really unregulated place. And when IP comes into the mix of it, it's a very interesting specter that we're looking at. I think really what's a big thing is the counterfeit online, like fake goods on e-commerce platforms that are exploding and costing brands billions of pounds. So you get the problem with AI counterfeiting stuff. Then there's the green tech patents, sustainable innovations which increase. I think we're going to see a lot more patent law battles in IP, and protecting and the balance of protecting with access. So like we saw with vaccines during COVID, protecting innovation while ensuring access will remain with key debates. So unfortunately, the laws for IP aren't clear yet. So this, of course, means that once we can clear that, that will be the biggest hurdle. So we can get over, the ownership of when somebody creates something with AI, in the copyright law or the patent law or trademark, how that can, really come to fruition, because we are really lost at that at the moment. Because when you are using like ChatGPT and you are actually copyright infringing because you are grabbing training data and using that. So it's really imperative that the laws, that you don't kind of go, well, I didn't know that, because that's not going to work for very long. You really have to get in tune with what you are doing with IP law and AI in general.
They say ignorance is bliss, don't they? But it's not necessarily very true in law.
Yes.
But that's wonderful. Thank you, and thank you very much for your time. And I'm sure our audience greatly appreciate your answers to the questions. I hope you have a very good rest of your day, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Larissa. I mean, if anybody does have any questions about AI or IP law, then please, you can touch base with me at the Business Mission or write to me at info@thebusinessmission.com, and I'm happy to address those questions.
Brilliant. Thank you.